Jessica Vascellaro out in San Francisco to tell us a little bit about some of the features that we may be able to expect in the what's expected to be the iPad 3 tomorrow. Jessica, tell us about them.
Hi, Rolf. Well, the headline is it's going to look very similar on the outside, same form factor, pretty much the same size. But what people are really excited about is a screen with a much sharper resolution, more similar to the resolution on the iPhone, which is significantly better than the iPad right now. And that has a lot of media companies, ebooks companies really excited, and they think that's going to be a big benefit. The other thing is compatibility with fourth generation wireless networks. So this thing can be faster. I mean, that of course will depend on what carrier you have and where you live. But Verizon and AT&T are both expected to offer an LTE version that go on their fastest networks.
So Jessica, Peter Kafka here. You have a new generation of networks that can shoot more data at faster speeds. At the same time, we hear companies like AT&T and I think Verizon as well saying we're going to start pulling back on the amount of data we can offer, or we're going to charge more for it, or it's not going to be unlimited anymore. We're talking about higher resolution screens. What does this mean for the carriers? Will they be able to keep up with the bandwidth demands?
It's a great question, Peter, and I'm sure it's one that they're really focused on. I mean, they've been sort of dying to show off devices to highlight these networks at CES. Every device they launched, they were saying 4G, LTE. So one would hope and expect that they are pretty comfortable with their capacity, but users will be scrutinizing it, particularly if they're paying more for it. So I anticipate we'll probably see a little bit of back and forth and probably slower speeds, faster speeds. How it affects battery life is something consumers are also going to care a lot about. Obviously 4G will eat up the battery faster, and that's already a huge problem.
Jessica, is there any sense that this chip you mentioned, this LTE chip, could this be the one that goes into what people are expecting will be an iPhone 5 later this year?
It's a good question. I mean, some people really expected the iPhone to come out with LTE before the iPad. We had heard, and others had heard as well, that because it's such a drain on battery life, that was one of the reasons that doing it on the iPad first, which has more capacity, was what they were thinking. I think it's inevitable that the iPhone obviously goes in this direction. It could very well, I mean, this is a sign they're pretty far advanced, so I see no reason to expect it wouldn't be in the next iPhone, although I haven't heard that directly.
One other product I'm wondering if we'll get an update for, the Apple TV, that little set-top box that they sell. I understand it's been kind of coming off of, it hasn't been available in stores, maybe Apple hasn't been shipping them. Is that a sign that we're going to get an update to that set-top box?
It could be. I don't know the exact answer to that. I mean, I think that that box, which is not sort of a big television that we and others have reported Apple is also thinking about, is sort of due for a refresh. It doesn't. Users have long complained that it doesn't support sort of the highest version of HD. So it would make sense for them to do that. I don't know. That may be one thing that we have to actually wait for tomorrow to hear about. It is true that Tim Cook, in a lot of recent investor calls and at the shareholder meeting, was sort of playing up the device. He actually told one attendee at the shareholder meeting, to go out and buy one. He was acting a little bit like a salesman. So maybe he's been paving the way for something new there. I do think, it will be a refresh and fairly incremental if we do hear something.
Great. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us. Great story.
Thanks, Jessica.
On the iPad 3 today. Everybody should check it out.